In 1988, a KGB officer codenamed Max began to provide information on moles who had been planted by the KGB inside U.S. intelligence. Their role was to help the KGB eliminate any Soviet agents working for the United States, to create a blind spot in Moscow for U.S. intelligence for years to come. Well, that information actually led to the arrest of 3 American intelligence officers working on behalf of the Russians, the FBI, and the CIA. There is still, though, a lingering question. What if it wasn't just those 3? What if there was another mole who was never found?
People in the CIA have told me they have no doubt there was a 4th man. He was at the top of the CIA. His knowledge of counterintelligence allowed him to avoid arrest. And as we speak, the FBI is still assembling evidence on this guy, even after 15 years.
At what cost? What was lost, or, the effects of having this person in their butt?
It was devastating. It was worse than Ames, Hansen, or Howard. For instance, he gave transcripts of conversations between Yeltsin and Putin. I'm sorry, Yeltsin and Clinton, and took these transcripts from the White House, very top secret, and sent them to Moscow. Putin used those transcripts to effectively blackmail Yeltsin and wedge his way into power.
That was former CIA operative Robert Baer detailing the agency's still ongoing investigation into how Soviet spies compromised American national security during the Cold War. And according to Baer, the CIA knows of at least one Russian agent who managed to slip through the cracks. And according to Baer, one of those spies had a particularly long and productive career undermining American foreign policy, long after Russians supposedly ended their KGB-era spy program. But who was collecting all of that sensitive intelligence? As it turns out, it was an ambitious former KGB officer named Vladimir Putin. Baer's claims are explosive. He argues not only that Putin conducted these operations largely without the knowledge of Russian officials outside the intelligence community, but that Putin used sensitive U.S.-Russian communications to blackmail then-President Boris Yeltsin into resigning in late 1999. That may sound hard to believe, but it lines up with everything we know about Putin's hardball approach to foreign and domestic politics, and his willingness to put his own personal advancement ahead of democracy and even the health of the Russian state itself. And it's no surprise that once Yeltsin left, Prime Minister Vladimir Putin quickly assumed the Russian presidency, a job that he's held officially and unofficially ever since. And even more concerning, the CIA still believes Putin's most valuable asset is an active national security threat, enough for the FBI to continue conducting interviews and rechecking agent stories even 20 years later. And as Baer says, Putin's key agent in America was so careful about their movements and actions that decades of espionage yielded only a few fleeting hints of how they operated.
He gave all sorts of military secrets, counterintelligence secrets, you name it. There's never been a better placed spy than this guy.
It's amazing, too, to think that, as you just said, that this investigation, right, is basically still ongoing.
It is. As of 3 weeks ago, the FBI was knocking on doors, making sure that they hadn't missed anything. It's at the Eastern District of Virginia right now, the U.S. Attorney. They're still looking at it. They'd love to put this guy away. But he played to win. He didn't take money. He didn't pass documents that could be traced. He didn't do any travel that he couldn't account for in the CIA budget. He was good. It's Tinker, Tailor, Soldier, Spy. Only this guy is undoubtedly going to get away.
There was never an easier time in history to infiltrate the U.S. government than during Donald Trump's one disastrous presidential term. Not only did China repeatedly attempt, and sometimes succeed, at compromising American intelligence during the Trump years, most spies didn't even need to try. Twice, in public and on camera, President Trump himself begged Russia's intelligence agencies to attack his political opponents. They were only too happy to oblige. Vladimir Putin built and sustained a sophisticated, highly successful spying operation back in the 1990s, with only a fraction of the resources he has today. Now, with unquestioned power over all of Russia's funds and spies, he's more equipped than ever to infiltrate not just the United States, but the entire West. The question is, after 4 years of looking the other way under Donald Trump, has Russia rebuilt its spying operation in Washington? At least for now, the CIA isn't ruling it out.